welcome back to my new series, White Coat Stories. I am not sure yet how often this series will be uploaded. It is up to you guys if you like it or not. Let me tell you a little bit more about this series. In this series, I will be sharing with you what happens behind the scenes for those who wear white coats, whether it will be doctors, nurses, phlebotomists, clinical laboratory scientists, laboratory assistants, and many more. It is almost everyone who works in a hospital. Throughout the series, you will see how our work is cooperate and how we interact with each other. You will see what it really is like to be working in a hospital. If you have a story that you want to share, please feel free to email it to me or leave it in a comment down below. If you would like to remain anonymous, be sure to let me know as well. If not, I will credit you the story you shared. These stories either come from my own experience, something I witnessed, or come from your submission. I just want to share this story with you, and you can just take it with a grain of salt. It is meant for entertainment purpose only. I will be sharing the stories as first person just to keep things simple. Without further ado, let's grab some popcorn, soda, or tea, and don't forget to click that like button, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let's go! I will start off this series with my own story. This happened when I was a laboratory assistant in a micro-laboratory department of a well-known hospital. I'm not going to name this hospital, so please don't ask. I was working there while going to school to become a CLS at the same time. This was at a small hospital. Unlike most larger hospitals, this micro department only operate during day shift, and any stat tests that come after hours will be done by core lab CLSs. FYI, core labs include chemistry, hematology, urine analysis, and maybe blood bank department in a smaller, non-trauma hospital. But in a larger hospital, blood bank is more often in its own department. My normal routine was going to school from 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. But on Monday to Thursday, I will also work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Boy, those were long days. Luckily, I did not have to deal with any commutes because I worked at the same place as my clinical rotation. I'm not sure if this happened to other people or just me. Things seem to happen to me at the most inconvenient time possible. Anyhow, I started my shift on a Thursday in a typical clinical microbiology laboratory. As a lab assistant, I would perform really simple and routine tasks such as answering the phone, do gram staining, straightening the plates, preparing media, and restocking supplies throughout the laboratory. If you do not know what a gram stain is, I have a video about it which you can check it out at the end of this video. I was so happy and bubbly on the inside and was looking forward to the weekend. The CLS left at 4 p.m. but the lab assistants, aka me, did not leave until 11 p.m. because I was doing lab assistant stuff. It was around 5:10 p.m. when I received a phone call from a doctor, Dr. Oops. Yes, it is not a real name, but it is the best I can come up with right now. If you have a suggestion, please let me know. Moving on, this is how the conversation went. This is me. Good evening, this is Micro Lab. How can I help you? Dr. Oops went, I want to do an add-on order to a blood culture ordered. I said, okay, no problem. Let me check to see if we still have the sample. Do you know when the collection date was and if the results came back already? Dr. said, I don't have any of that information. Then I said, it is okay. Can I have the patient names and the patient medical record number or MRN? Dr. said, the patient name is ... and the MRN is ... I went, it looks like the results came back already. Were you able to access the results? Dr. said, yes, and that is why I'm calling you because I want the ID and CNC done. Side note, in this content, ID stand for identifications of bacteria that is the source of infections, and SENSI stand for antibiotic sensitivity test. If you would like to understand them more, please check out the links in the description box down below. I will leave links to video about identifications and sensitivity tests. Okay, let's get back to our story. This was me talking to myself. Okay, the doctor has seen the results, but it can't be. I'm looking at the results again. The results said no growth. It cannot be. He is a doctor. He must understand what no growth means. Maybe I'm pulling up the wrong patient. Let me double check and confirm that. So I went. I just want to confirm that we are talking about the same patient. The patient name is blank and the MR number is blank. And the Dr. Oops confirmed that we're talking about the same patient. So then I asked him, would you mind telling me what you are seeing? Maybe he's not seeing the results that I'm seeing. And Dr. Oops said, the report said no growth, and I want to add on an order to do ID and SENSI. Can you do that? So I was even more puzzling in my head. I went like, what? What did I miss? The result was no growth, aka no organism found, nada, no infections. You should be happy. But, I was trying to stay calm, and my reply to him was, Dr. Oops, the result of this patient was no growth, so we did not perform ID and SENSI on this patient. If there were any growth on the culture, we would notify you and automatically perform ID and SENSI. Dr. Oops said, I know, but you did not do ID and SENSI on this patient, and that is why I want you to do it. Don't you understand? In my head, I was like, okay, ID and SENSI on no growth? There's no organism that makes absolutely no sense. Your patient does not have sepsis, at least not according to this sample. It is possible that the number of bacteria was below detectable level at the time of the collection. However, I can't tell him that because I was still just a lab assistant, don't have my license yet. Dr. Oops was a little irritated at that point, and then he said, can you do it or not? If not, can you get someone else that can help? My patient is sick with high fever and all the other lab values came back negative, so it must be sepsis. I went, it doesn't mean sepsis, but again, can't tell him yet. Me, I try to keep things calm, and so I reply, sorry, it took me a while, but I was double checking the information and tried to make sure that we still have the plate and the blood culture bottle. Okay, we'll still have everything we need in order for us to do ID and SENSI, but I will refer you to laboratory supervisor. I think he will be able to help you better. I put Dr. Oops on hold and went straight to core lab looking for core lab supervisor. I still had a little bit of luck on my side because there he was, Mr. B. Before Mr. B became a core lab supervisor, he used to work in micro department and he was really good. So thank God he was still there in his office. Once I saw Mr. B, I was so happy, and then I said, hey Mr. B, can you please help this doctor on line 1? He wants me to add ID and SENSI on a blood culture that was resulted earlier today. Mr. B was like, sure, do you know how to do an add-on order? Then I said, I know, but I can't do it on a no growth sample. Then Mr. B said, what? So what does T want? If there's no growth, there's no growth. I was like, yeah, exactly. But can you help him? I think this doctor may not understand what no growth means. Or maybe he's really have no idea what is the cause of the fever and just want to give antibiotic and call it a day. I really don't know. Being the nice guys as he always is, Mr. B said, okay, I'll talk to that doctor. That was it. The end of the story. No, I'm kidding. I would not let you hanging like that. But the truth is, I don't know how the conversation went. But in the end, Dr. Oops ordered another blood culture to be collected, and Mr. B asked me to reculture the blood culture from the original sample. Then Mr. B went on to tell me that my presumption was right. The doctor had no idea what was wrong with the patient. The patient is obviously sick, but every test he ordered, the results came back negative. He really thought it was sepsis and was hoping that the correct antibiotic would help. So here's all in all, the new results from the blood cultures were negative. Both the new sample and the reculture from the original sample, the patient did not have sepsis. This happened a long time ago and I have completely forgotten about it. Until I saw someone wearing a t-shirt said, "Without laboratory, you are just guessing." When I read that phrase, it made me giggle a little and think back to that day. And that was the birth of this series. Lastly, I do not want to end it on such a negative note. I just want to say that I think the doctor was under a tremendous level of stress to see the patient condition deteriorating right before his eyes. I have to give it to him that he is very caring and trying to do everything he possibly can to help the patient. So for that, thank you. He was a good and caring doctor. That is it for the first episode of White Coat Story. If you want your story to be told, please email or leave it in the comment sections. If you are emailing me, please put White Coat Story, then put your name or anonymous as the subject. If you put your names in, I will credit the story to you. All stories will be told as anonymous unless you give me permission. Please let me know what you think about this series. Should I make more of this? Your opinion matters. Make your voice heard. One of the benefits of being a part of small Blood Talk fams is that I read and reply to all comments. So please talk to me. I want to get to know you as well. Before you leave, please like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell. As always, remember, your blood tells you the story of your health. Thanks for watching. Bye!